Hey YouTube, this video is all about stacking cymbals, where you play them and how you come up with your own stacks. Hey, my name is Andy and I'm here today with ArtOfDrumming to talk about stacks. Before we get into what those cymbals are and how I assembled them, let me get into where I use them and give you some ideas of what you can play with them. So first, let me show you 3 ideas how you can use stacks in a groove. Number 1 would be to use a stack as an auxiliary hi-hat, for example this one. Then I'm going to show you how you can layer a snare sound with a stack. I'm going to use this one for that. And third would be to use it as a crash cymbal. I'm going to use this one. Check it out. Now that we've checked out some ideas of how you can use stacks in grooves, I'm going to show you my favorite fill-in concept using a stack. It's pretty simple. I simply double the stack hits with my right foot with the bass drum, and I play 16th notes between my hands, and by just throwing in doubles at some places, I'm creating some very interesting sounding figures. Check it out, 1 bar of groove, 1 bar of improvised fills. Now let's get into the cymbals I'm using here. The first category I want to talk about are auxiliary hi-hats. So 2 cymbals that are stacked on top of each other like a hi-hat. In this setup, this would be the FX stack I'm using here. This 12-inch stack works great if you use it as a secondary hi-hat to create some more texture in your grooves. Or you could also use a second hi-hat and place it over here so that you're more flexible when it comes to open or crossed playing. You could use either one of those Silgian mounts they ship with the stack or also any other X-hat stand. Like with all other stacks, you can customize the length of your stack by adjusting the tension that the 2 cymbals are pressed at each other. Now let me show you one groove where I use the secondary hi-hat. The next category I want to talk about are splash stacks. When choosing the cymbals for your stacks, cymbals with holes in them or with special shapes work really good because they enable air to come between the cymbals and prevent your cymbals from just deadening each other. In this scenario here, I'm using a stack of 3 cymbals, 2 splashes and a spiral stacker in between. You could also use just 2 splashes, but the spiral stacker really helps to get some extra definition even with low volume playing. I like this one especially in scenarios where I use them as secondary hi-hats or even to layer them on snare sounds. Have a listen. The third category that I really love to use are China stacks. simply placing a splash cymbal or a crash cymbal inside of a china works perfectly fine for me. Just as with all the other stacks, you can adjust the length of the stack by adjusting the tension of the cymbals. So simply decide if you want to have a short and very articulate sound, or if you want to use the china stack as a white noise electronic crash cymbal thingy. Another thing to mention would be, I personally don't like to hit any edges of cymbals. So if you want to place a crash cymbal in your china, make sure the edge of the cymbal isn't sticking out. This might damage your sticks, and also you might damage the cymbal. Now let me demonstrate this exact stack, once with a very short and once with a longer sound. Now, besides adding additional cymbals to your setup, you can also customize the ones that you already use. For example, the hi-hat. If you're looking for a more trashy sound, why not place a cymbal underneath? Here I placed a 14-inch Trashformer underneath this special dry hi-hat, and let's have a listen what it does. So now you know my favorite ways of stacking cymbals. If you want to go more into detail, make sure to check out ArtOfDrumming.com. It's a completely free website where there are tons of drum courses waiting for you, filmed by some of the greatest artists on this planet. And now, have fun finding your favorite stacks, and definitely let us know what your favorites are and what experience you have. Simply post this down in the comments and subscribe for more videos like this one.